brain infection was far more than a disease. It was a systemic takeover of the human body, a masterstroke of biological manipulation. The fungus began by invading the brain, infiltrating the central nervous system with microscopic tendrils. The process was swift and horrifying. Within hours, victims lost control of their movements, their aggression spiked, and the fungus began to mold their behavior to suit its needs. The mechanism was terrifying in its simplicity. Cordyceps didn't replace the brain, it hijacked it. By secreting chemicals that altered neurotransmitters, it could suppress the victim's identity, reducing them to a shell of their former self. Survivors described infected individuals as having empty eyes, as if their souls had been hollowed out, leaving behind only the fungus's will. But cordyceps didn't stop there. As the infection progressed, the fungus began to alter the host's body itself. Over time, fungal growths burst through the skin, hardening into plates that protected the host while simultaneously aiding in its mobility and lethality. This armor-like growth was not random. It was evolution in action, each mutation serving a purpose in the fungus's grand design. The stages of infection reflected this sinister progression. Runners. The earliest stage, where the host retained much of their human appearance but displayed erratic, violent behavior. Runners were fast, relentless, and driven by a primal need to spread the infection. Their aggression was unmatched, but their humanity was still faintly visible, a tragic reminder of what they once were. Stalkers. As the infection deepened, fungal growths began to emerge, covering parts of the host's face and body. Stalkers gained a predatory cunning, using stealth to hunt survivors. Their movements were eerily calculated, as if guided by an intelligence beyond instinct. Clickers. At this stage, the fungus fully consumed the host's head, rendering them blind, but cordyceps adapted, granting them echolocation through the use of clicking sounds. These creatures were fearsome hunters, their haunting clicks a death knell for those who heard them. Bloaters. After years of infection, some hosts transformed into bloaters, hulking monstrosities covered in fungal armor. Bloaters were nearly impervious to conventional weapons and could release clouds of spores to spread the infection further. They represented the pinnacle of cordyceps's physical transformation, though survivors feared that worse mutations might still exist. Each stage was more than a biological progression. It was a statement of cordyceps's dominance. The fungus reshaped humanity in its image, erasing individuality and replacing it with unity under its control. Survivors who studied the infected began to notice disturbing patterns. The infected didn't attack randomly. They acted with purpose, often targeting areas where survivors gathered or stockpiled resources. Was this merely coincidence, or did cordyceps possess a form of intelligence, a hive mind guiding its infected soldiers? Perhaps the most chilling aspect of the infection was the spores. Invisible to the naked eye, they lingered in the air, turning entire regions into death zones. Survivors had to wear gas masks at all times, knowing that a single breath in a spore-filled area could seal their fate. The fungus's control extended beyond its hosts, dominating the very environment they inhabited. Buildings covered in fungal growths became traps for the unwary, and even the ground itself seemed alive with cordyceps's influence. The infection wasn't just a plague, it was a system, a new order imposed upon humanity. And as the survivors struggled to hold on to what remained of their world, cordyceps continued to spread, unstoppable and all-consuming.